Thanks for joining us for Generations Unite, our weekly discussion about increasing everyday spirituality from the perspective of different generations. We hope our conversations and meditations will help increase forgiveness, spiritual healing, prosperity, and living a life of freedom and self-expression. Now it's time for Generations Unite.
Yay!
How's it going?
That announcer said it was weekly.
Yeah, things have changed around here.
Yeah, what's going on?
I'm not sure. Maybe we need a new intro.
Yeah, we need to fire that intro guy because we do it every month, and sometimes we're busy and we don't. But it's our favorite Tuesday night program where we talk about different things of generation. I'm your host, Paul, and with your other host, Megan. That's right.
Hello.
KCTK Radio, and YouTube star in her own right. You may know her from her YouTube videos. Am I an EFJ? No, you're an ESFP. And many, many more.
Exactly. My greatest hits.
Also, you know her from her own podcast.
Psyche Design.
What's up with that? Oh, a Psychic Design.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I listened to Psychic Design, and I hope that I'm as knowledgeable as the people you had on there last week. I don't think
I was.
So tell everybody kind of what this invention is, this little tiny program we do.
So really, I feel like this has evolved throughout the years. And at first we were going to talk about spiritual topics and then approach it from different perspectives of different generations. But then you know what? The world really changed. Like a pandemic happened, like an election happened, a lot of conspiracies happened. And I feel like people are talking about generations even more now.
Yeah.
Gen Z has grown up. Millennials are old. I'm 27 and I'm the youngest millennial. And when we first started this, we were talking about me being the young generation. And now this is also kind of, I think, evolved into, I'm also trying to figure out this younger generation, because one thing that we can kind of just talk about here is the fact that Facebook and Instagram went down for 6 hours yesterday.
So we're gonna talk about that and other things from a generation point of view. I'm in Gen X, right?
And I'm a millennial. Yes. We're going to talk about these hot topics.
Right. So if you're part of a generation, you want to join us, give us a call at 913-735-0060. So our first thing we're going to talk about is Facebook. Ooh, everyone hates him now.
Yeah. So tell me yesterday, how did you realize that Facebook and Instagram were down? What form of media informed you that it was down?
So I was working on, I do a thing every month called the Good Newspaper that I send out, and then I try to put it on Facebook. Post on Facebook. It wasn't posting. So I didn't quite understand what was going on. So I went to Facebook myself, and it said it wasn't working. And I go, you know what? If I'm having a problem, that's one thing. But if Facebook is down, I know where to go to see where people complain and bitch about things. That's Twitter.
Yep.
So I went quickly to Twitter, and they had many, many jokes about Facebook. The Twitter people. The Twitter people already feel superior to everyone anyway. So this is a good chance for them to feel even more superior, since their prime social media is Twitter as opposed to Facebook.
Yeah.
So that's
there's a lot of people like, I didn't even notice it was down because those apps are boring, was what a lot of people were saying. And then, I don't know if you knew this part of it, is that Twitter DMs actually went down for a bit as well, only for 30 minutes. But it's interesting because Facebook's app, WhatsApp, also went down. And so it kind of, in Instagram. And so it goes to show how when you're one social media company in charge of all of this stuff, that even people use WhatsApp. Like one of my
Was
Yeah, one of my friends recently moved to Spain to teach English as a second language for a while, and I have been only able to message her on WhatsApp,
Mhm.
and that was down. So, and let me show you though what I thought was annoying.
Well, I think it's interesting that the whistleblower was on 60 Minutes on Sunday night. Then yesterday it was offline for 4 hours.
Mhm.
That's a long time.
I thought it was 6, but
Oh,
you
was
could be
it
wrong.
longer than that? I only
Ah,
know
yeah,
4. So I mean that's a
yeah,
pretty darn long time.
yeah.
And everyone's like, well, big deal. It's Facebook. It is a major way that people communicate nowadays. If your phone service was out for all day, that would hurt a lot of businesses. There's a lot of
Mhm.
businesses that use Facebook. I like to make fun of Facebook and think it's silly. We're broadcasting on Facebook Live right now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Get around it.
At Unity at my work, they typically have a prayer service that they live stream at 11 that they weren't able to do.
Yeah.
So people's routines were ruined. I was actually, I found out because I was trying to upload a video to Instagram and it wasn't working.
Okay. So
and
you were doing something too. You were doing
yeah,
content.
yeah. I
Wow.
went to a concert on Sunday and it took me so long to even edit the video the way I wanted it to post on Instagram. And then whenever it did, it just kept not working. I didn't know why it wasn't posting. I tried it like 3 times actually. And then finally I realized that it was down. And I kind of was happy that it was down because it was allowing me to just focus on work and not look at it. So like I would say like my reaction was, I'm glad it's down because people need to stop being so addicted to this. And it makes me feel like I'm not having like FOMO or missing out on what anyone's posting because nobody's posting. So
I see. Do you feel like are you addicted to social media?
I definitely am. I think that I have a pretty good relationship to it compared to how bad I know it can be.
Mm-hmm.
I actually recently deleted the Twitter app for my phone because Twitter is the one that I don't know how to stop looking at. And I've gone through phases though with TikTok where I've started to watch it more, but there's something about TikTok where it just makes my brain hurt if I'm looking at it for too long. Like I need to, mostly because I think that my For You page is often people talking about things. I don't have very many like jokes on there really. And so even though it's easy to scroll, like I kind of just get overwhelmed if I'm looking at TikTok for too long.
Yeah.
But I want to show you though this. So I thought that a lot of the people on Instagram were kind of annoying when they would Twitter, people on Twitter are funnier. That you just gotta admit that. I don't care what your favorite app is. People on Instagram, their memes are taken from Twitter, and also people on wait, what's this?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And people on Facebook, they steal their memes from Twitter as well. So this was me being a Twitter person kind of complaining about.
Let me show you this funny thing from Twitter.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. I have my screen shared right now.
Oh, I got mine.
So,
I got mine.
okay.
So
Okay.
it's Blair Ezell. She's a comedian.
Thank you for having me. Yes, we here at Facebook would just like to say, I thought you deleted Facebook. We just think it's kind of funny that last night everybody was like #delete Facebook. And then this morning they're like #Facebook down. You know, because like, which one is it? Did y'all already delete it or is it down? Because it can't be down if you deleted it. You know what I mean? Are we supposed to apologize for paying attention to you and knowing what you're doing and where you are and what you like? Because we are listening to you constantly. Because guess who else is listening to you? Nobody. We're the only everybody wants to like Tom from MySpace. Tom's our best friend. Tom left you. Okay. Do you think Tom thinks about you now? He doesn't. He's a photographer now. Okay, Tom. And I guess the last thing that we'd like to say is good luck remembering your mom's birthday now, you pieces of shit.
Isn't that hilarious?
Oh my God. That is so funny.
So there you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I wasn't even aware of what all happened with Facebook right before, but yeah, I just was going to share this. This is something I saw from, wait, which screen am I showing?
It looks like I thought that was
Oh, there we go. I got it.
Emma Stone.
Yes. Okay. So this is like a content marketer. I follow them. They have good stuff, but they are someone who has worked in social media marketing since 2013, 2014, and they share tips about social media marketing and content marketing. So this is someone that I think they're a little older than me, but they've seen this internet grow and they are digital natives. They understand social media. They're giving advice on how to use Instagram or whatever. But then there's this joke of me during those 6 hours, I thought I'd have to learn Twitter of them like crying
Crying and eating ice cream.
It says real life footage. And I say, I'm sorry, but are the people on Instagram okay? Because why is it so hard for them to just learn how to use Twitter? And because, okay, my opinion is that people tend to be more authentic on Twitter because they're just saying whatever they think and they're just having fun talking about whatever they're into. They aren't trying to curate like a perfect image.
Yeah, but isn't Twitter people are sniping and they're trying to dunk
True.
on other people.
True.
So I don't know if that's more authentic or not. It's different. It's more criticism. They're not they're nicer on Instagram, but they don't seem to be as real.
They don't talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even in this conversation, it seems like you more were taking the angle of all of the businesses that use Facebook. And I was thinking like, oh, it's good if it was off for a bit because then people could get like not so attached.
I think it would be good if it was off for a bit and if people could take a break from social media. But the as they say, the toothpaste is out of the tube. And this company, I mean, you listen to the testimony today, they've got to be a little more responsible about what they're doing. If they have an algorithm that they know they can change, that's hurting especially teen females and making them feel terrible about themselves on Instagram, they should change it. They have an algorithm that makes you, they did this test where if you're on Facebook, they took a new account, just like a fake account, and they followed President Trump and Fox News. And by a week, they were getting in their news feed invitations to be part of QAnon groups. So, I mean, that's only raising the BS that's on there, and they should have accountability on what is on there.
That's very true, because you know what? Like Instagram's ads are absolutely ruthless. Like I think that and as someone that knows how they work too, because literally for my job, I do Facebook and Instagram ads. Like when we were talking about doing a like sort of weight loss challenge thing this summer, I realized I didn't have a scale. And so I literally bought a scale from Amazon. And then all of a sudden, all of my Instagram ads are like, are you trying to lose weight? And it's like, you need this, you need this. And then it's just like girls like feeling sad about their belly. And I'm like, why are you showing me this? I literally just didn't own a scale.
Right.
And it's like, they're already assuming that. And it's like, if you were struggling with like an eating disorder, that would be terrible. Like, it's just like the moment that you reveal any sort of insecurity, like on Google, all of a sudden, like they know.
I would like to think that maybe Congress will do something. Democrats don't like the misinformation that is coming about through Facebook. The Trumpites don't like the social media getting rid of stuff. But if they would change the algorithm to where it wouldn't radicalize people, then you could tell the truth in your way, if that makes sense. You would just get rid of fictional stuff and you would have real stuff on there. But now you can't tell the truth. You can't tell the difference. So they have to get in there and piss people off when they edit stuff. You know what makes me mad? And this is completely a thing that most people don't have to deal with. So I do these podcasts and a lot of people like to watch them on Facebook Live, and I'll play a song.
Yeah.
I'm not charging anybody for my podcast. I don't have advertisers.
Are you not allowed to?
Well, I can. I mean, I could, I guess, but this is more of a thing I do just because it's more fun. And
Oh, like, are you allowed to post the video?
but the thing is, when
The
I
song?
do a song with video, they block it. Facebook blocks it out because it's someone else's rights to their music. And
Does it take your video down? Because I was gonna want to play a couple
video down.
videos,
takes your
but
video down. But we
Oh,
have
it
to try
does?
because it's haphazard. You don't know what it is. I mean,
Well, what
if you and I were together talking to a room of people, we would just play the video and it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, and on YouTube, it doesn't allow you to do any of that. And that's where, like, I've always loved the idea of having some sort of radio show where I share music and talk about music, but I don't know where to do it. I
Yeah.
don't know how that's
Well,
if you want to
YouTube,
actually share it.
but see, YouTube is the same problem too, but it's different between you and I. You monetize yours, I don't.
But even on
can't get held-
YouTube, you aren't allowed to have certain songs up, even if you're not monetizing
I know.
it.
That's what's
Mhm.
frustrating.
Yeah. And
So,
like,
anyway, we're way off track there, but that's
I'll just say with copyright law, though, it depends on the song, and the algorithm will tell you, like, different songs have different like rules.
I guess just to close this topic off, I can live with not playing a song.
Mhm.
Facebook cannot tell the public, oh, we can't control what you put on there because you can't.
Yeah. That's
If I
very
put a
true.
Beatles song on here right now with a video, it would be off immediately. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say
Mhm.
I can't tell what people put on there, and then once someone puts something on there and it's over in 2
Mhm.
seconds. Pick
So
one and go with it.
this is a good segue. Can I share this TikTok with you really quick?
Of course.
Oh God, hold on.
Oh no, what do you see? Are you
That
looking?
was I just was hearing like literally two things happening at once. I'm so
Oh, no.
confused.
Oh no.
This was like a TikTok about someone who is Gen X, and
And millennial.
it's about old people on TikTok.
Okay.
And the theme
Yeah.
there, I've seen some people on Twitter even being like talking about what are like Gen X or boomers gonna do if Facebook is gone. Like they
Okay.
don't know what they're doing. And I know that you're a Gen Xer who watches TikTok, so I want to know your thoughts on this guy.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on. Did I share with the
Yes. I can see
I
it.
don't know if I had the sound. There we go. Okay.
Some little 14-year-old post something about why are all these old people getting so brave and coming on TikTok? Let me tell you something about older millennials and Generation X. We were used to playing outside. Now we're locked inside. That doesn't work with us. Not only that, but Facebook got kind of boring for us. You know what I mean? Too much politics and complaining. We were an outrageous generation. We wore fluorescent clothing. We wore rubber band bracelets. We used to tease our hair up to the sky using cans of Aquanet. You know, Facebook? Come on, we were raised with Pee Wee Herman. Craziness. Pee Wee Herman and Facebook don't go together. Hello, Mr. Zuckerberg. Is that a book on your face? Facebook doesn't work for us. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, we had the solid gold dancers back in the day. You know what I'm talking about? We were break dancing, spinning on the street on cardboard boxes. All these hot 47-year-old moms married to one, doing all these crazy dances. These were cheerleaders in the 80s and 90s when it was a contact sport. Let me tell you something. We were made for this stuff. We're a dangerous generation. We wore jeans so tight, we had to pull the zipper up with hangers laying on a bed. Welcome to the jungle.
Okay.
Okay. I think I'm supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Do you get the sentiment of this? Are you crazy? Is this guy like your age, or is he supposed to be younger?
He's my age.
Okay.
I guess I
He
would
says
say-
it millennials, and I'm like, you're not a millennial, dude.
No. I guess I would say
But-
this. Here's what I'd say. Kids and ongoing generations, your parents are going to ruin everything that's fun. Okay. So you're
Yeah.
going to go to the park. Maybe we went to the park and your parents will show up to the park or a pizza place or wherever we hung out. So wherever you hang out, your parents show up and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. So nowadays it's TikTok.
Mhm.
People are not coming over to Facebook or from Facebook and leaving Facebook either. It's all just another fun thing to do. and ruin it. Your cousin, Annie, who is a junior in college,
Mhm.
she finally let her mother see her Instagram uh, recently.
After all this time,
Yeah,
I've seen her Instagram this whole time.
but her mother wasn't allowed to do it.
Oh wow.
So as she's gotten older, it's been okay. So it just, and what's the thing called? Is it
Snapchat?
it's fake Insta.
Oh, Finsta. Yeah.
Finsta is a thing where kids can figure it out, and then parents can figure that out. We're coming for you. You're going to do the same thing when you have kids and they're having fun. You're going to go to the fun thing and ruin it for them. So
that's another generational thing. Have you seen the clip of, I guess, Facebook or Mark Zuckerberg being questioned? Is there like a case going on or something? Is that someone being? Or go ahead.
I know which one you're talking about. I think it was Senator Blumenthal.
Someone saying if he can get rid of a Finsta.
Yeah. Well, they think it's you youngsters think it's so funny. He didn't know what it was. He just thought it was another part of Instagram.
Yeah.
Like another product that they had.
Yeah, exactly.
And Zuckerberg or whoever it was didn't explain it very well. But I saw, oh my God, it's so stupid. He thinks Finsta is part of. He don't know. Okay. Just like, I don't know why old people.
He could have said, "Oh, that's slang." He could have said, "Oh, that's just
here's
slang."
what they do, and this is why they call it that. I mean, just like my parents didn't understand. He mentions Pee Wee Herman. I used to watch Pee Wee Herman the movie, and my parents looked at me like I had 4 heads, like I was the stupidest kid in the world. They thought it was so dumb. I thought it was hilarious. It's funny you should bring that up. That's a good example for me. Well,
yeah,
that's what happens. Parents, you don't know what they're doing. Parents are coming for you to learn what you're doing and to ruin your fun.
I watched the movie Halloween Town yesterday. Do you remember watching that?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you watch
it. I'll tell you, it's so stupid. It is so
for kids. You're a 27-year-old woman.
Yeah, but it's so funny watching old kids movies that I love like that, because the plot speeds up so quickly. And like when you're a kid, you're so engrossed in it, you feel like the suspense is killing you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just like, how we're already here?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like, I don't know.
And you're probably watching that movie, and then I'm like walking in the room. Hey, what's going on, girls? What you watching?
Yeah.
It's a movie, Dad. You didn't understand it. I probably would say that was stupid. I was probably ruining it for you.
Yeah.
Did I ruin anything for you?
Mm.
I know your life because of bad parenting skills, but I'm talking about like anything that you were having fun with. Oh, I know one thing.
Wanting to put a video on MySpace.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes. You and your friend wanted to do a video of It's Tricky, and I didn't want to allow you to do it because I was being overprotective dad, but also I was ruining your fun because it was also new stuff I didn't understand either.
It's probably a good thing that you do that, because we were doing a rap video, and maybe it would have been fine at the time, but maybe I would have been canceled for something I did when I was 13 for having baggy pants.
Yeah.
And like now.
Yeah.
So.
Now that segues in the video I want to show you, because for the last seems like, I don't know, 20 years almost, everyone's been bitching and moaning about millennials and they're so terrible and they're changing everything. Now millennials are bitching about zillennials.
Yeah.
So let me show you, and I think you're the one that shared this with me.
Let me tell you really just quickly, I recently stumbled upon on Spotify, like there's like this resurgence of like techno goth sort of thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There's this like resurgence of like goth techno sort of thing happening, and I saw that there was like a playlist where someone called them doomers, like as opposed to like sometimes they're called zoomers, but they were like calling themselves doomers because of like apocalypse generation.
Yeah, because I mean there's this very difference between Gen X, millennials, and now zillennials or zoomers, or Generation Z. They're so new that we haven't even figured out exactly what we're going to call them, right?
I have heard some people say after Generation Z that they're calling it Generation Alpha of like babies and kids.
Well,
But
the only thing we know is that we like to blame the boomers on stuff. But
yeah, we all can agree on that.
yeah, let's look at this video here. I think you sent this to me.
Okay, so there's this entire genre of tweet or TikTok that I'm seeing these days, like this, where someone born after the year 2000 discovers that a piece of media or a celebrity from before they were born is incredibly problematic. And then they go, we just don't talk about this. We just think it's fine. And I would really love for the Zoomers to understand that the reason why you even recognize this as problematic is because millennials have been talking about it since it came out as problematic. Like the Eminem one is particularly stupid because there was literally congressional hearings about this. But Zoomers act like they invented being woke. I don't think you understand the world that millennials were born into. Like I was born in 1982 and I didn't know a publicly out gay person until I was in my 20s. Like the closest we even got to Black culture being mainstream was watching the Cosbys or Family Matters on Family TV Night. But the fact that Lil Nas X can have a #1 album or middle schoolers can be out and proud right now is due to an entire generation's worth of social progress. We've been talking about this stuff.
Okay, I'm going to go back to that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
that? It's because of an entire generation's work.
Yeah,
Stuff.
exactly.
We just had to fight uphill the whole way, and now you don't. You have different battles. Do you know
That's not true either.
what? We inherited pride and the civil rights movement from Generation X and the boomers.
That's what I was going to get at.
Mhm.
It's more than one generation, bub.
Yeah,
Moved us.
I do think that there is a theme of younger kids thinking that they invented being woke.
Yes. And I think that's always been the case. Every generation thinks I'm so much smarter than the one before.
However, I also think that so much of what they have to say is theoretical because they're still in school. They haven't like really tried to apply, but also like they're such a high tech generation. They're like so used to like discourse and like thinking about things in theory.
Hold on.
That's
hold
one
on.
thing.
Let me
Mhm.
finish this.
And they inherited women's
Oh.
suffrage and liberation from the generations before them. Your culture doesn't exist in a vacuum. And some of the things millennials didn't get a chance to change, you're going to change. But yes, we recognize that 80s movies are incredibly homophobic and 90s movies didn't have diversity. We've been pointing out that Eminem was misogynistic since the 90s. So as a millennial, I'm looking forward to the way that Zoomers are going to change the world and make it a better place. But don't act like we haven't been fighting this fight for a long time.
And see, what I love about this video is
Mhm.
millennials have been so guilty of that,
Mhm.
guilty of not recognizing the stuff in the future. But now you guys are getting to the age. And what you said earlier is really interesting. Well, they have all this new technology.
And we did too.
We had new technology.
Yeah.
It was Pong, or it was a video game, or it was we all had our own cars.
Yeah.
Our generation before didn't. So there's always been, and there's always
Something.
some new thing that is going on. And I love it that you millennials are now getting to the age where you're seeing
Yeah.
a good, but I think with that said, I think you'll be nicer to the next generation than we were to,
Yeah.
and certainly more than the boomers were to us.
Well, I'm just more so worried about some of them that are younger. Like, I was talking to Jess, and her mom is a 6th grade teacher, and apparently there has been all these TikTok trends of people like ripping up the bathroom, or like someone like filmed them like taking a pipe out of like something in the bathroom. And there's also been a trend of like punch your teacher challenge, and you record yourself like punching your teacher. Like some of these like 4th through 6th grade, I worry about them because they have not been socialized.
Yeah.
They've been from home working, or I mean doing school from home. And now I was thinking about like their main form of social capital would be TikTok, because they don't like, I'm sure they can have some friends, but it's not the same sort of like popularity contest or like social group thing
Mhm.
as being in school. But
Well, that's why I mean we just go back to the earlier thing about Facebook and the hearings
mhm,
were held today in the Senate. Man, we're relying on these people to. I mean, this is you call it the social clout,
mhm,
the indoctrination to our culture by
mhm.
little kids. We're trusting these companies to do the right thing, and they have to. And I think it's time the government gets in there and make sure they do.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's and I don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
it's never going back. That's why I get frustrated with people my age too. It's like, well, just turn it all off and don't have them do it. Ain't gonna
Yeah. And I also don't think that the solution is like, oh, well, we just need to break up the monopoly and encourage competition because we don't really need competition in this area. Like, I don't want them to keep making more and more apps and more things.
right.
Like, the same way that government has like NPR or like certain like oh, we're gonna make sure we have media like I don't know what it would look like, but there's got to be something.
Yeah.
So one other thing that your video made me think of is I recently was watching the R. Kelly documentary about how he's a terrible person, and
Mhm.
he recently, I think it was like last week, said that he's going to be going to jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah, he got sentenced to life in prison.
I had a feeling like that of like, how come nobody told me? Because I loved like his music. I loved Ignition Remix from 2005. It's like, but you guys all knew that he was a terrible person this whole time,
how would I-
right?
No, no.
Well, I don't know if you knew, but like apparently, like there were court cases about this in like 2008 or like something I would not have really been paying attention to. But I remember whenever I watched it with mom, I was like, and this was like 2 years ago now, I was like, oh, I didn't know that he was like a pedophile. And mom was like, oh yeah, he is. Like it's been like SNL skits, like there's been
Well, he's been
things talking
accused
about
of
it since
for a while.
Aaliyah.
He's been accused of it for a while, but again, you never know. You never know things for sure.
Yeah,
And
but
his-
I didn't even know about the
height of his
accusing.
popularity, he wasn't. You didn't know.
Apparently he was.
And Michael Jackson wasn't either. We didn't know about him either. We
It
didn't know.
seems I also wonder if word just doesn't travel for that sort of stuff as much, but
It could
at
be
least they were sharing the timeline, and like there were stories about it, but it what in the culture people maybe didn't freak out about it as much.
that's true. Well, it's not that they didn't forget about it, they didn't know about it. And I think you just figured it out.
Yeah.
Information doesn't travel as much. And
Well, yeah, because people were talking about in the 90s that he married Aaliyah when she was 15 in 1994. And there were stories about like him literally marrying a 15-year-old. But the thing is, we didn't know in 2005, or either people didn't know or they didn't care.
I didn't know who Aaliyah was at the time, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
I knew Aaliyah very, very shortly before she died. Is when she
Mhm.
was famous for the mainstream.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you this. That guy
Mhm.
mentioned going back and people want to cancel Eminem. There's even people are going back and looking at, I saw a thing on one of the social medias about John Lennon has a song, him and Yoko
Mhm.
Ono, and the name of the song is, and I'm not going to say the full title, but it's "Women Are the N-Word of the World." Okay.
Oh, not good. Mhm.
Well, the point of it is Yoko Ono trying to say how terrible women are treated around the world, and trying to make this harsh, crash, terrible treatment word.
Mhm.
So now people want to go back and like, oh, let's cancel his music. And then
Yeah.
what do you think about going back and canceling people?
I think that it depends, because I do think that there are some scenarios where it does kind of reveal someone's character the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But then when there's things like that and you're just, if you don't think about if a word is harmful, like a word, like someone's actions versus the way they talk is so different. And I don't know why. That's another thing I would say that Gen Z doesn't seem to know the difference between that. Is like saying the N-word, obviously it's terrible, but like the fact that I guess she thought it was shocking and artistic or whatever to do at the time, and that people were cool with it, shows you like
Yes,
how aware people were about that.
that's right. That's right.
That's another thing is like people try and cancel like the creator of MBTI, like Isabel Myers or something, for writing some book about a slave, where it seems to me like it was a progressive book at the time, for like in like the early 1900s, writing a book from like a slave's perspective or something like that. Like I understand that that's not great, but like
Well, the one example I think about is that some of the people who have wanted to ban a Huckleberry Finn. Did you ever read that growing up?
I did. I can't really remember though what
He
happened.
he leaves and runs away with Jim, who's a black man,
Mhm.
and so they always called him N-word Jim. And it's terrible how much that word is used in that book, but
Mhm.
whole point of it is
Mhm.
if this kid becomes friends with this guy, and it was written in the mid 1800s when that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we're focused on the details, we're not focused on the big.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what
See,
do you,
that's the thing is, even like with the early 1900s, I'm like, why would you write a book about a slave unless you wanted to bring some sort of attention to the fact that this happened?
yes.
You know?
Well, and then the use of that word was chosen also to show the dichotomy between why would you be friends with such a terrible person? And he was. Do you know, I'm getting way off track here, but do you know who the scum of the earth was during biblical times, when Jesus was around?
No.
The Sumerians.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of the Good
Oh,
Samaritan?
yeah.
So that story is about someone that you never would expect to help you,
Oh,
helps you.
okay.
And so the story's about we should be like that. We should always help someone and be prepared if someone is coming along to help you that you least expect. Oh, by the way, it's Jesus who is our savior.
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? That was a bad, but now you say, oh, he's a good Samaritan. Oh, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to have that context in there. Now let me ask you this.
Mhm.
There's also
Mhm.
a trend, and I know one example of people going back and looking at old Twitter and
Mhm.
canceling people. There's a famous case. I don't know the name of the person. She was going to be the editor of Teen Vogue, and they went back and looked at her Twitter when she was in high school, and she was stupid and had some kind of bad things towards Asians, and so she didn't get the job. And she's older than you.
Mhm.
I mean, what do you think of that?
I think that that's bad, but I also feel like we've been told. I mean, I don't know how old she is because maybe it was different for her, but for my age, I feel like we've been told, be careful what you put on the internet. Jobs are going to look. We've been told that so many times to where, like, I feel like you should delete that.
But here's the thing that I think you're right about that. I think people are sad
Yeah.
about that. But here's the thing that bugs me. We can't let people have mistakes when they're teenagers. And
Yeah.
when you make a mistake as a teenager, actually, if you make a mistake in life, it shouldn't carry you for the rest of the world. But especially as a teenager, think how stupid you were when you were a teenager.
Well, one thing
I'll tell you.
One thing though that is stupid is that me and Tara, when we went to Worlds of Fun, we definitely like took pictures in each of the areas of like, hey, we're in the Asian area. Hey, we're in the like we were just like trying to be silly and like do something like out of all the different worlds of fun. And there was like a picture I did delete where we were like pretending to be like Asian next to the spinning dragons.
Right.
And I'm like,
And you're like, man, that was stupid.
yeah.
Apologize for acting that way.
Yeah.
Stupid kid.
Yeah.
Judge me, my character, on what some dumb kid did.
hmm
So anyway, okay.
I will kind of judge like how much do you really care about it if you're trying to work in media and you haven't deleted shit.
I guess I see too much of it as not trying to weed out bad people, but using
Just trying to put people
using it as a way to I don't know, rivals trying to hurt somebody. Okay. So
Yeah.
we do a little thing here. We like to play a game called Am I a Jerk?
hmm
This is a generational one, so I'm glad I found it.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay. Is this daughter wrong to call out her father's fragile masculinity?
Oh.
Uh-oh. A daughter and then a guy who's fragile in his masculinity? That's what this should
Crazy.
be all about.
Mhm.
The world was a certain way for a long time, at least when it comes to the idea of respecting our elders and keeping our mouths shut in order to keep the peace, even if we really, really don't agree with the rude and harmful things they say. This woman grew up with a homophobic father, one who would make snide comments that everyone just ignored because they were respecting their father. So my whole life, I've known that my dad was a homophobe. No one else in the immediate family is, and no one really talks about any kind of LBGTQ plus topic around him. So it doesn't really come up a lot with him. But whenever anything gay happens around him, he starts on a small rant. Now that she's older and she has daughters of her own, she can see how harmful that can be and is less willing to let things slide for a second generation. When her father made a comment about the Wiggles, she noticed it. Anyway, after living with this my whole life, I'm now 24 years old, female, have one little girl who loves the Wiggles, a kid show. Sometimes when I'm visiting my parents, me and my mom turn the Wiggles on Netflix, and it keeps her entertained while we visit. Her father, okay, it just keeps going back with the tense. The father made a few snide comments about how they were gay and it wasn't normal, and those were the kind of people that shouldn't be influencing kids. She had enough and snapped, maybe the masculinity isn't as fragile as yours. That's what she said to him. My dad is commenting on how he doesn't like the Wiggles and it's creepy. I usually ignore him, but yesterday decided on why. Because to sing and dance and smile like that as a full-grown man, you have to be gay. That's not the kind of people you want around your kids. I was kind of shocked.
That's really sad too about men.
It's just something funny and colorful for kids. I don't remember what he said afterwards, but it's another gay comment. Well, maybe masculinity isn't as fragile as yours. Dad was upset, although mother laughed initially. She later said her father shouldn't have said that. Her sister agrees and should have stayed quiet because her sister agrees she should have stayed quiet too because of respect. Mom laughed at the comment, but the dad was less than amused. I was really bad mood and snapping everyone, so I decided to leave early. Mom told me she's still mad this morning, and that really shouldn't have been. So it sounds like the mom. I don't know why this keeps going back and forth in the text, but the mom says you shouldn't have said anything. She told my sister about it in a text to tell me I should be more respectful of her dad. She's always been dad's girl. Her sister did. So what do you think?
I don't think she did anything wrong. I think that if you dish it, you got to take it. And I get that it's respect, but he needs to learn to take. It's hard for me to even understand because with our family, I feel like we can like make fun of each other or like say things like that to where like, I don't know.
Well,
Like-
here's the thing. I would hate to have my kid so afraid of me if I said something. And if I ever said something that's stupid, which I'm sure I have, I'm trying to be funny or something, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I always try to be funny.
I just
Fail most of the time. But
If I was in her shoes, I would not feel bad at all about mentioning the fragile masculinity, but
Right.
I would just to shut them up, say sorry, and then that's it. And like just not mean it and just like try and not get into it with them again.
I guess, I'm thinking as I'm thinking about this, maybe the fragile masculinity is not. I mean, he
Mhm.
does have fragile masculinity, so it hit him where it hurts.
Yeah.
I think if you say stuff like that from my generation point of view, it's not that you have fragile masculinity. It's just you're stupid and you're ignorant about things.
Well, I think that
And
the fragile
you don't have the understanding of how that is not good to do for a little kid to hear that stuff.
yeah.
You just think
Well,
it's
yeah,
playing and moving on.
it's
Does that make
interesting.
sense?
Yeah, it's interesting though that you're coming from that perspective because I guess I'm just thinking like, man, it's so sad that he thinks that smiling as a man and dancing means that you're
Yes.
gay.
Yes.
And like,
That's kind of a sad life.
yeah. And so I do think that that is fragile masculinity. It's not his fault. I think that all masculinity of men that age is fragile. I mean, femininity is also fragile if you're like feeling like you have to wear a lot of makeup or do all the right things in order to be feminine. But the thing is that if he feels like he can't smile or dance to be a man, that's sad.
Now,
And
have you ever noticed this? Which I think we're maybe getting past this,
mhm,
but there used to be this thing. I think there still is. If someone is really homophobic
mhm.
and they say things, what do we say about them? He's probably in the closet.
Yeah, and
Like-
I think that people say to
wait a-
not do that anymore.
It's like, wait a minute, time out. We can't say that because you're doing the exact same thing that he's doing. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I do think though that the fragile masculinity thing that it's like true that if you are threatened by and assuming things about a guy who's smiling, then you basically because I do think that deep in the psyche of guys like that, they want to be able to smile and dance and feel free. But they don't because they feel like they have to be a certain way in
Mhm.
order to be manly enough and to feel tough and competent. And so I think it bothers them when they see people not caring about that.
Just bad.
And so I
Maybe-
think that that's
maybe
true,
there's
but I also
something-
think that it was a passing comment, and clearly he's too ignorant to understand what she even means by that.
Mhm. Right. But I do think she has a right to say to her parents what is acceptable in front of her child.
Yes. Hmm.
In fact, I know a guy who he was with his mom and his two little girls.
Did you ever have to do that?
And the mom said, "Oh, I don't think Hillary Clinton should be president because I don't think women can handle it." And he said to his mom, "Don't say that in front of my daughters. That is a sexist comment, and women can do anything men can do." That hypothetical, who knows where that came from, story was just that you have the right to say that in front of your,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you're gonna have children, but if you do,
Mhm.
and I'm sure I'll say a lot of stuff that you'll say, stop saying that, Dad. That's not really what
Yeah.
I want you to say. I don't say a lot, but there'll be
Yeah.
some, it'll come up, and you know what I'll do? Okay.
Mhm.
I will respect the way that you're raising the child.
Yeah.
And the sister and the mother should understand too.
Yeah, like I understand if they're just like, oh, well, we all know that he's homophobic, just don't push his buttons. But he was the one pushing the button
Yes.
around the kid.
Yeah.
And
You said
so,
it right. You said it right. If
Yeah.
you dish it out, you'll be able to take it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what I don't understand. And so if I were her, I wouldn't feel bad at all. I don't even know if I would feel like I could be close with someone like that if it was my dad, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like
What would you do if your dad said something like that? I know you would stand up for yourself. Would you later go, "Hey, we got to talk about this because this is a problem"? I would hope
That's
it
the
would.
thing. That's the thing is that like I would want to talk about it, but I also feel like if I was raised with someone like that, then I might have learned sooner that it wasn't worth it and just kind of
Yeah,
detached.
but you weren't, would you? So would you? If I said
Well, it's
something,
hard.
if I said
It's-
something, would you approach me and say,
If you
got time for you, but
did,
yeah.
of course,
Okay,
of
good.
course.
that's
If
good.
you did because you raised me to believe that I could, you know, feel however I want about things.
Yeah.
But like if I was raised by someone who wasn't that way, I don't even know how I wouldn't be able to get along with
It'd be
them.
hard, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like
What
if
is
that was my dad, I couldn't do it.
Would you text me something yesterday and it was a compliment
Oh,
about being a father, but it really was an insult. I forget what it was.
dude, let me find it. Oh, it was a tweet that said, giving kids the impression that adults are perfect, have all the answers, and are flawless, are flawless. What?
Bad form or something.
You give the impression that they should be that kind of adult.
And you copy.
I said, so I'm glad you taught me adults are all stupid.
So it was thanks for doing that, Dad, because you were such a good example of being a stupid adult that
Well,
I
I mean
know
that
adults-
seriously. I mean that seriously though, because like his point is that if you were raised to think all adults know the answers and you can't ask questions, and when you're an adult, you think you have to know all the answers. And then it causes a lot of anxiety for people. You would be like going to the like, okay, you were running for office from before I was even born. And so whenever you weren't there, you told me that everyone there was stupid
Mhm.
and that,
wrote a
and
book.
so,
about
and then whenever you did go start working in politics, you told me that everyone there was stupid. And you basically told me like, hey, everyone that's running the world doesn't know what they're doing. And so that was like, I think something that I learned at a very young age compared to other people that I know,
Mhm.
because a lot of people just grew up with this illusion that even like politicians are doing something to fix it or something like that. And I remember specifically having a combo with you where you were telling me that you felt like you were 12 on the inside still. And
Yeah.
I was very confused by that. I was like, how?
Mhm.
And you were like, it feels the same. You don't ever like change internally.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I still feel that way. I'm very old, but you know, the same insecurities, the same
Mhm.
things that make me excited, the things that I'm confident about, the same things I'm insecure about, they seem to be the same. But I was talking about you to somebody the other day,
Mhm.
someone who's going to have a baby in February. I said,
Mhm.
it is amazing to me how children have their personality the minute they're born.
Really?
You were so much like you were when you were born. You just
Oh, can you tell me more about that? Because that also like, I think astrology explains that too.
yeah.
Kind of.
You,
But
you wanted I don't want to say you wanted attention. You wanted connection.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You didn't like to go to bed because you wanted to hang out. You wanted to be with people. You wanted people to talk to you. You wanted people to you like to be entertained. You like to entertain people. You liked that connection of people, you know? And
Interesting.
even when
Yeah.
you're a tiny little baby, you wanted to be around everybody. And
Yeah.
that part as a parent, because you know, you got to go to bed, take a nap. You know, you got to, you know,
Was Maddie like that as much?
not as much, huh?
I remember though.
Maddie to this day is very much, hey, I'm gonna go do my own thing now. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I remember though she like very much took it upon herself to figure out how to climb the cabinet and get her own snacks. And I don't think that I did that. I don't know if you remember me doing that, but
Right. Yeah, because you didn't want to break the rules and
yeah.
you were brave enough to ask someone to help you all at the same time.
Yeah.
And you were
Yeah.
demanding enough to say you deserved it. I deserved it. Snack. Give me one.
Yeah.
Maddie knows. Maddie somehow figured out what's not snack time. But I want one. I'm gonna go get one.
Oh my god. I
Right?
also
Am I
remember
right?
yeah. I also remember though like driving on Nolan Road by I-70, and Maddie saying, "This is the way to Grandma's, and this is the way to Audrey's," or
Yeah.
something. And I'm like, "What? How do you know where you're
Right.
going?"
And you still don't know that.
Yeah, like I'm like I'm like 5, and she was like 3, like saying the directions. And I'm like, "Wait, what? Where am I? I don't know where I am. I don't even know where home is from
Right.
here."
Right.
But
So yeah, so that's interesting to me. Okay, so do you have another story?
so can I share a couple? Okay, actually, I have a good segue as these pandemic babies, really quick.
Babies.
Um, speaking of people being how they were when they were born, let's think about these the babies that were born during the pandemic. I think that they're going to be tough cookies. I think that they're going to be like the silent generation, or they're going to be like, I grew up in the war, or the Great Depression. They're going to like talk about it probably.
Hmm.
And okay, so here's one baby.
First, I will be the child of one mother.
Hold on.
Let me tell
So-
something
Or wait, no, the voice will tell, or the sound will tell you.
to you. If you don't have a pandemic baby, then you cannot sit with me. Do you understand what I mean? These new pandemic babies are built different, completely different. If I had my last baby that I had during the pandemic first, I would be the child of one mother. I would be the mother of one child. I wouldn't have 3 because they built different. I'm trying to tell you, they are built different. They not like these other kids. They come out with an attitude. If I had her first, I would only have one child. I'm telling you.
I do not understand how that baby is eating literally chicken.
He was
on a
only 4
bone,
days.
But
Look at that first one again.
hold
He's
on.
only 4 days old.
Okay, yeah, there's more.
Oh,
Let me
He's
tell
old.
something to you. If you don't have a pandemic baby, then you cannot sit with me. Do you understand what I mean?
All right.
These new pandemic babies
There
are
was
So here's the thing that it's probably going to be true, but also, you know, they were with their parents more too,
yeah.
and that means a lot. That means
Here's
the
this.
development of a kid.
Let me just show this one really quick.
Okay.
Look at his face.
You are too broke to be so mad. You cannot even afford to have an attitude. Fix your face. Fix your face.
You cute.
I've seen a lot of like just like bitch stares like from babies. They know that something is happening, something is going on. I don't even know, like, because I mean, if you think about how I popped out wanting attention and connection, imagine that, and then like you're just alone and like you're seeing the same people. It's like, what is this?
Right. Right.
You
Now,
know?
is there a astrology thing for the last year and a half that was going on?
Yes. So in 2020, Pluto and Jupiter were in Pluto, Jupiter, and Saturn were all in Capricorn. And a lot of people say that that is kind of related to the pandemic starting. And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is all about boundaries and restrictions and saying no. And Capricorn is very like driven and earthy and grounded. And so it's like basically last year was a big no to everyone. You have to be responsible, you have to be hardworking and have discipline. And if you know any Capricorns, these people already know how to have their shit together and be
My
disciplined.
mother's a Capricorn. My
Yes.
wife's a Capricorn. My daughter's a Capricorn.
Yes. And so these are the sort of people that already know how to get their ducks in a row. But in this year, everybody had to learn, I guess, how to get their ducks in a row. And so a lot of these babies were born with a bunch of Capricorn placements. And
Can
so-
I ask you an astrology
Yeah.
question? Been meaning to ask you for a while.
Mhm.
One of my child
Mhm.
is the same astrological sign as my father,
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
and
was a
one of
little-
them has the same as my mother.
That is really
Do
interesting.
you think that prepared me to handle that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently some people say that there's a lot of different themes that you can see with people's charts. I mean, like even like I have an Aries moon and you're an Aries. Like there's like themes that you could see like with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Okay. How about this story?
Uh-huh.
Ready for a news story
Mm-hmm.
about generations? Folks, it's Generations Unite, and this is a news story. Zillennials and boomers, what each generation want in a home.
Oh.
We all know that the most common generation difference between millennials and baby boomers. 4 words: avocado toast versus Facebook. But how do generations differ in housing preferences? Online real estate platform took a look on how real estate preferences differ across generations, from zillennials in between Gen Z and millennials. I never really heard of them. They're kind of like,
That's an annoying word that is made up to basically explain Maddie's age.
yeah, okay.
It's anyone born between like 95 and 98.
So zillennials to boomers.
Yeah.
28 million Americans plan on buying a house in the next 12 months. Here's how it breaks down. Investment millennials, 29 to 39. So you're just below that, but
Why that's weird that they're saying that, because I've never seen anything.
it's another news outlet. You never know
Why are they saying just 10 years?
because they're stupid. Would rather invest in a move-in ready property. But baby boomers, 56 to 74, prefer rolling up their sleeves and renovating fixer-uppers.
And because they have money and resources and time.
I don't know if that's still true, though. I don't know any 56 to 74 people who want a fixer-upper now. Maybe they did when they first bought one. You know, it's not quite ready to take the plunge in the real estate market. Is the millennials are putting their assets in cryptocurrency, while baby boomers pad their retirement accounts. Both of those are wrong. Both of those are wrong. Millennials are not putting money in cryptocurrency more than anybody else. They know about it because it's new technology, but they're paying off their damn student loans is what they're doing. They ain't got no money. And baby boomers are not padding their retirement accounts. They're having nice houses and they have a retirement account. Generations must have. Percentage who favor environmental family home features is 26% millennials, 8% baby boomers. So millennials care more about that eco-friendly stuff.
Yeah.
The people want more smart home features like speaker hubs, appliances, doorbells. 20% millennials care about that, but only 2% of baby boomers. Again, they're going to have the technology that they're.
Yeah.
So that's both of them really want a good kitchen because everyone gathers in the kitchen. I thought that was interesting. You know, we would have houses that I grew up in, and when they were building houses when I was a little boy, all had dining rooms. Because people that generation wanted a dining room bed. Now you see houses that just have bigger kitchens.
Yeah. I would just want a bigger kitchen. I remember, wasn't it like a big deal for mom to like, she always wanted a dining room. And then we finally have one. And
mostly because she had a dining room set that sat there for 20 years. That she didn't fit anywhere. Those who anticipate overpaying to get their home they want. 42% baby boomers, 25% zillennials, millennials and Gen X range 40 to 55, and those expecting they won't be able to get all the home features they want is zillennials. That doesn't make sense. The age groups that are worried about having to settle for a different neighborhood, 38% millennials believe that. Lastly, Gen X is more likely than baby boomers to need financial help to land their dream home. No shit. Boomers have more money than Gen X. Gen X has more money than millennials. And I'm assuming millennials have more money than Gen Z, but we'll see about that.
Also, it seems like because this is a housing thing, they just came up with their own categories because Gen Z isn't really old enough to have a home, and so it seems like they just kind of lumped millennials in with them.
About 4 in 10 Americans, 38% who are looking to buy a home in the next year say they've paused their search. When asked about trade-offs, most buyers agree they would wait a year to find their dream home, while 27% said they'd compromise to get something now. How is that a generational thing? That's just your life thing. Sometimes you need a house, sometimes you can put it off.
Yeah.
So this is from Open Door.
Are they trying to make it seem like, oh, we're used to Amazon and like getting it now?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's full of crap.
Maybe we're poor. Yeah. I agree. Speaking of avocado toast, I want to show you this one. I want to show you this one tweet really quick.
Okay. Oh, wait, we're stopping the news. And that's the news about generations in housing. And I don't believe it's true. Back to you,
I
Matt.
don't believe it's true either. So speaking of avocado toast, I just had to announce CNN reported that the US government will run out of money by October 18th. My friend says probably too much Starbucks. And and I said,
wait. Who said that?
My friend Megan.
That is a great thing. Because isn't that
Yeah.
every old boomer says why millennials
Yes.
don't have money? Yep. Mhm.
Yes. And I responded and said, yeah, I said, has the government considered cutting back on avocado toast?
That's great.
And so I wanted to just share this. I actually saw a lot of people responding to this saying similar things. Millennials are like, oh, you're running out of money. Like, we're just like,
Uh-huh.
I don't even know.
So
trying to-
millennials are jumping on the thing about, oh, boo-hoo, you don't have enough money, just like
Yeah.
boomers do to you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny. Where can people
Yeah.
follow you on Twitter?
I'm just Megan Lavota. It's just my name.
I noticed on
funny.
Twitter you have a long rant sometimes.
That's how I use Twitter.
Okay. All right.
Threads.
Do you have anything else for our fun show?
Well, I can maybe save it for next time because I had like 2 music videos that I was going to just talk about the difference between millennials and Gen Z, but
Okay.
it's not really timely. So,
Well, tune in next time, next
Mhm.
month when we do the show again. And
mhm.
this has been Generation Unite.
Woo!
What do you want
You know what? Maybe we can do a special generations episode in Mexico
Ooh, that'd be fun because
and have different age groups.
well, do you remember when we were all together at the lake and all the questions that you younger people got about generations and things?
Mhm.
Now your
You
sister
can have like an interview of Boomer.
was making fun of us. She
Yeah.
said she's going to drink every time one of us asks for a generational question, like a drinking game.
Oh yeah, there was something that
I thought those conversations were good, even though it shows how ignorant some of us older guys are.
one of the drinking games says, drink whenever an uncle asks a gay question.
Right. Just trying to understand you darn generation.
No, I love that. I love that conversation. So,
Okay.
okay.
All right.
Thanks for uniting with us, everybody.
All right. Love you, Megan.
All right, love you.
Generations Unite has been a KCTK production, produced by Megan Lavota and Paul Lavota. All rights reserved. For more information and content, email us at kctkradio@gmail.com.
Okay. Oh, mom's at the Royals game.